Hi, this is Amy Perry, and this tutorial is to help you set up a class notebook in the Office 365 program. Now, depending on what kind of account you may have this available to you, you may not. It is available online. You can probably sign up individually. So the first thing that you want to do is log into your account. Mine defaults immediately to email. So if that's where yours takes you as well, you can click on this little icon over here. It looks a little bit like a waffle. Once you click on it, we are going to want to set up a class notebook in OneNote. Now, one mistake that many people make is they actually go directly into the OneNote application or the online version. That's not what we want to do. If you are organizing your own notes, if you're taking a class, OneNote, the OneNote app is online, or the OneNote app on your device is a great place to start. But it's not a place that you would want to start if you are an instructor or a teacher for a classroom of students, or if you're teaching in professional learning sessions for adult learners. You want to start in Class Notebook so that you can organize a space that's both functional for you and for the participants or students in your course. So you're going to select Class Notebook. The next screen that you're going to come to is going to give you a few options. So you can create a class notebook, you can add or remove students, you can add or remove teachers, or you can manage notebooks. Now, if you're just starting out and creating your own class notebook, you're going to want to start with create a class notebook. The first thing that you're going to be prompted to do is to give your notebook a name. Now, depending on whether you are teaching a single grade level or if you're a secondary teacher or an adult learner teacher, you're going to want to give your name, your class a name similar to the course that you're teaching. And you're also going to want to put some identifying information in it so that your students can identify that it is their class if they're searching for it in a different database. So today we're just going to call this Demo 3. Because this is my demonstration video and this is my third one that I'm doing. So once I've chosen a name and I've spell checked it and I'm sure that that's the way that I want it to look and what I want it to be called, I'm going to click Next. As you can see on this navigation over here, you can see the different steps that it's going to take us through. Next, you're going to come to the page with the notebook overview. So here's what's going to be inside of our notebook. You're going to have a collaboration space. Now, collaboration space is really great. You're going to be able to have a space where teachers, instructors, students, participants can all collaborate in one space. Anything that you put in here can be altered or edited by a student or participant in your class. So definitely set up some procedures and expectations for that space. Students and participants can also add pages and sections within the collaboration space, which is really neat. Your collaboration space is like a file drawer. There can be sections added, so kind of like file folders, and then within those file folders, pages. So OneNote definitely has a lot of functionality and application for both elementary up to secondary, at the collegiate level, and then for professional learning beyond college in our careers. Now, your content library, this is where you, the teacher, are going to publish course materials to the students. This is not a space where the students or participants can edit anything. They can make copies of pages and move it to the collaboration space or to their student notebook so that they can edit, they can write over the top of it, they can take notes. But anything that is in the content library will not be able to be edited or changed, or anything or nothing can be added by a student or participant within this section. The last area is your student notebook. So now this is a private space for each student or participant. When I say private, I mean the teacher can see. So if you are assigning some sort of presentation or assignments, or if the expectation is that they're taking notes, following along, or doing something in that space, you, the instructor or teacher, will have the ability to go in and check that if you would like. And I would encourage that, especially if individual contributions to this notebook are expected. but other students and participants will not be able to get into another student's notebook space. Okay, so you do have the option to add multiple teachers. If you are team teaching, either for a presentation or for a class, this is where you would want to share your notebook space. Maybe you are developing a class notebook as a grade level. Instead of just doing one, you're working together as a team and you're pushing out assignments and presentations together when you're in your PLCs and you have all of your students in here. So you would want to add each teacher's name in here so that they can go in and edit and add content and participate in that collaboration space. For the purpose of today, I'm not going to add anyone in here. You can type in their name or their email address, and I'm going to show you how to do that when you're adding students. Okay, the fourth page that you're going to come to is adding student names. So today I'm going to add 2 of my colleagues so that you can see how this works out when we get to the preview stage. So I'm going to add Elisa Clark. I just typed her name and here she comes up in my directory, so I'm going to click her name. And I know that she's been successfully found because her name is underlined. If her name is not underlined, then the application was not able to find this person within the Office 365 directory. And then the next person that I'm going to look for is Pamela Wood. I can wait for her name to come up, or I can just click enter. And again, I know that they have found the correct person because her name is now underlined. Okay, next space. Here's where we're going to design our student space. So back on the notebook overview, we were able to look at that student space, that student notebook. And here's where you get to determine what's going to be inside. Now, I like to keep the handout section in here because if I have something that I want everybody to have, I don't have to copy and paste it, and neither do the students. I can actually, if I have the OneNote, or I download that OneNote add-on, then I can, with one click, distribute it out into everyone's notebook in this handout section. So that's a really handy one to have. Class notes, this is a space for your students to take notes, post reflections. Again, other students and participants can't get into this space, but you as the teacher or instructor can. Homework is a really great space. Whenever I'm teaching a course, I like to put a checkoff list at the end of the agenda in the content library. Students are able to copy that page and paste it into the homework section. I can also push this out into the homework section as well. And then as they complete the assignments, they can actually check them off, either by clicking on the boxes. That's something that you're able to do within OneNote, is put boxes that when they're clicked on that they can be checked off. Or if you have a stylus, or you can use your finger with the draw tool, they can actually cross them out or check them off there as well. Now, quizzes. You can use the quizzes. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't. There are other ways to add quizzes. If you do choose not to have it now, you can go back and you can adjust this and you can add it in. There's some other ways you can use the Forms app on Office 365, or if you don't have that application available to you through the account that you have, you can also use Google Forms, or there's multiple other quiz applications on websites that you could post that would take students outside and then send the data back to you. If you're working with younger students, you're probably going to want to keep it to the applications within Office 365. But today I'm going to remove it and then click Next. Okay, so here's a preview of our space. This is what my notebook is going to look like. So if you look over here, you'll notice that Welcome is just a little bit different because Welcome is not a file drawer. And I imagine this entire page is like a filing cabinet if you look at this left nav on this preview. The Welcome, where it only has one file top right here, this is like a file folder. If I open it up, I'm going to find various pages. The rest of the areas on the left nav, you'll notice that they have multiple file tops. So this would be like opening a file drawer. If I open Collaboration Space, I can have different file folders. And then within those file folders, I can have individual pages. There's a lot that you can do with Collaboration Space. It can get quite large, so make sure that you are planning ahead with the organization of those spaces. Otherwise, it can be a little difficult to navigate and to find what you're looking for if you're not planning that ahead and if you're not adding descriptive enough titles and tags for your students to be able to locate those quickly. We already talked about Collaboration Space. This is a place where your students are able to go in and work together. They can edit, they can write directly on it with the draw tool or with the stylus, and they can type on it as well and work together. Content library, same idea as Collaboration Space. It's like its own little file drawer. Within it, you can put multiple files and then pages within those files. In Content Library, these are materials that are published by you only. Students and participants cannot make any changes in this area. They can copy and paste within Collaboration Space, or they can put it in their own section. Now down here you can see I have my 2 students. You can have as many or as few, I'm sure there is a cap, I just haven't found it yet, with your students as you want. As you can see, I only added 2 and it was completely fine. And back on step 5, Design Student Spaces, you were able to see the different sections that would be under here. And within those sections, Elisa and Pam would be able to go add in different pages under those sections. And I would be able to go in and look at their work. So this is the teacher's notebook view. This is what you would be able to see. Now let's look at what a student would be able to see. This is what a student will see. So here is Elisa's notebook. She's going to have the welcome. Now, I didn't mention this before. In my welcome space, I like to introduce myself and also put pages of information that are going to help my students throughout the entire course. If it's something that's just going to help them for a chapter, a unit, one session, then I'm going to organize that under Collaboration Space and Content Library. But items and documents that my students and participants can refer back to for the entire year or the entire course, I'm going to put that in the welcome section. It pins it to the top and it's a place where they can go back, and I don't fill my welcome section with a lot of materials, just those things that my participants are going to need for the entire year. She has her Collaboration Space and her Content Library, and I've already explained that. And then down here is a preview of those sections that we added back on step 5. So she has her handouts, and again, I can push documents out into those handouts so that she can have them. Her class notes, now this is a space where if she had something in Content Library, she could go in and copy a page and paste it in here. She can write directly over the top of it with the draw tool or a stylus, or again, she can type off to the side, whatever she wants to do. And then homework. I can add things into homework, or I can put it in handouts and she can copy it down here. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to post an agenda with homework at the bottom in my Content Library, and then my students or participants have been taught to copy that page and put it down into their homework, and they title each page within the homework section after the session that we were going to do. So this week I'm teaching a course and I'm teaching sessions 2, 3, and 4. So each day the homework pages will be titled Session 2, Session 3, Session 4. It's not any sort of confusion. It's one course, and my notebook has been named after the course. So just a helpful tip right there. So now that you have previewed the teacher's notebook and the student notebook, we're going to click Create. And it's setting up our notebook right now. Okay, we've reached the final step of creating a class notebook, and this is the page where it talks about the class notebook add-in. I recommended earlier that you do choose to do this. You don't have to if you don't. This add-on is for the desktop version, and it's designed to help teachers and instructors to be more efficient with their class notebooks. You are able to distribute materials to students, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where you can take a document and you can push it out into handouts and into student notebooks, and you only have to do it once. You don't have to copy it and paste it into every individual notebook. If you have large classes or you're teaching multiple classes, this would be a good idea. But this ends our tutorial. Thank you for listening.